I was in the middle of a meeting when my phone lit up with a message from my mother. I almost didn't look at it. I had a client on the line, a spreadsheet open, and 3 other notifications blinking for my attention. But something made me glance down. The message was a photo. My mother was standing in the middle of my salon's back office, the one I keep locked, the one where I store the lease agreements, the payroll records, the vendor contracts, and she was holding a glass of champagne. Behind her, my aunt had her arm around my younger cousin, both of them grinning. Someone had brought balloons. Pink and gold balloons, the kind you buy when you're celebrating something. I stared at that photo for a long time. Then I opened the family group chat and scrolled up. They had been planning this for 11 days. 11 days while I was running the business I had built from nothing, while I was negotiating a second location, while I was covering payroll for 14 employees. My family had been organizing what they called a celebration dinner inside my salon, not outside, not at a restaurant nearby, inside. In the space I had spent 4 years and every dollar I had turning into something real. My mother had texted my aunt. I already have a key from when we helped her move equipment 2 years ago. She never asked for it back. My aunt had replied, "Perfect, we'll come in through the back. Make it a surprise, a surprise." I sat in my car for 6 minutes after my meeting ended, just sat there. The engine was off. I didn't cry, which surprised me. I think I was too calm, the way you get calm when something is so far outside what you expected that your brain needs a moment to catch up to reality. My salon is called Luster. It's a mid-size beauty and wellness studio in a commercial strip I've leased for 3 years, and 4 months ago I signed the papers on a second location that I plan to open in the spring. The appraised value of the business, including equipment and client contracts, sits at just under $1.4 million. I built it without a business partner. I built it without investors. I built it with a small business loan I took out when I was 26 years old, a loan I paid back in full, ahead of schedule, with interest, in the 3rd year of operation. My family knows all of this. They have heard me talk about it. They have seen my name on the signage, on the website, on every document I have ever shown them. And yet, somehow, on a Tuesday evening in November, they decided to unlock my back door with a key I didn't know they still had and turn my business into a party venue. I didn't go home first. I drove straight to the salon. When I pulled into the parking lot, I could see light coming from inside, and I could hear music. Not loud. They had enough sense not to make it loud, but audible from the sidewalk. Someone had pushed the reception chairs to the edges of the room to make space. There were 2 folding tables I had never seen before set up near the shampoo stations covered with food. My cousin had brought her kids, who were spinning in my styling chairs. My mother saw me come in and immediately opened her arms. "There she is," she said, smiling. "The guest of honor." I looked at her for a moment, then I looked around the room, my aunt, my uncle, 3 cousins, my cousin's husband. 2 people I didn't recognize at all. "Who are those people?" I said. My aunt waved a hand. "Friends of ours, sweetheart. Don't worry." I want to be very clear about what happened next, because I've had people ask me why I didn't call the police immediately, why I didn't simply tell everyone to leave and lock the door. And the honest answer is that for about 4 minutes, I was still operating inside the version of reality, where this was just a misunderstanding. Where my mother would say, "Oh, we should have asked, I'm sorry," and that would be that. I was still giving them the benefit of the doubt that they had already spent. "Mom," I said, "how did you get in?" "I still have the key from when we helped you move the styling chairs," she said. Like it was nothing, like she was telling me the weather. "You've had a key to my business for 2 years and you didn't tell me." She tilted her head. "We didn't think it was a big deal. It's family." I took a breath. I need everyone to start gathering their things. The room went quiet in that specific way rooms go quiet when people realize a conversation has shifted direction. My aunt set down her drink. "We're just celebrating you, honey. Your second location. I haven't announced my second location publicly," I said. "How do you know about it?" A pause. My mother glanced at my aunt. "Your father mentioned it," my aunt said. "My father doesn't know about it. I haven't told him yet." Another pause, longer this time. I didn't push on that. Not then. I asked everyone to leave. I said I would follow up with my mother separately, and when my uncle started to make a comment about how I was being ungrateful, I looked at him and said very quietly, "This is my business, my name is on the lease, I'm asking you to leave." He left. They all left, eventually, taking the folding tables and the balloons and the strangers I had never met, leaving behind 2 champagne flutes that weren't mine, and a smear of frosting on the countertop near Station 4. I called a locksmith that night. New locks on the back entrance, the storage room, and my office. I had them change the front door code too. I went through every drawer in the back office, checking that nothing was missing or disturbed, as far as I could tell, nothing had been taken. But I found something else. On my desk, underneath a folder I hadn't moved in a week, there was a piece of paper that didn't belong to me. It was a handwritten list. At the top, in my mother's handwriting, it said, Luster, family stake. Below that there were names. My mother's name with a percentage next to it. My aunt's name with a percentage. My uncle's name. 3 lines, 3 percentages adding up to 45% of my business. I stood in my office at 11 o'clock at night, holding that piece of paper, and I felt something I can only describe as a door closing. Not slamming, just quietly, firmly shutting. I photographed the document and put it back exactly where I found it. Over the next week, I didn't say anything to my family. I went to work. I managed the pre-opening timeline for the second location. I responded to my mother's texts with one-word answers, which she interpreted as me still being upset about the dinner and not, as was actually the case, me waiting. I didn't have to wait long. 10 days after the dinner, I received a certified letter, a legal notice, sent to my business address, from an attorney representing my mother and my aunt, claiming that they had a rightful financial interest in Luster based on, and I want you to understand that I am not paraphrasing here, based on substantial emotional support, advisory guidance, and the provision of startup resources in the founding period of the business. Startup resources. I sat with my own attorney, a woman I have worked with since I signed my first lease, and I read her that sentence. She looked at me over her reading glasses. Startup resources, she repeated. Startup resources, I confirmed. What startup resources? My mother drove me to the bank when I applied for the loan, I said, and my aunt gave me $500 as a gift when I opened. She told me it was a gift. She gave me a card. The card said congratulations. My attorney was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "Do you have the card?" I did have the card. I had the card because I keep things, I keep records, I keep emails and contracts and bank statements going back to the first month I was in business. I have the original loan documentation showing that every dollar I borrowed came from a federally registered small business lender, not from any family member. I have the payoff confirmation. I have 4 years of tax filing showing sole proprietorship. I have payroll records, vendor invoices, the original lease in my name alone, the renewal in my name alone, the second location contract in my name alone. My mother's attorney sent a list of demands. They wanted 45%, the same breakdown as the handwritten note, to be formalized. They wanted it retroactive, meaning they were claiming a share of 4 years of revenue. They cited the $500 investment, and my mother driving me to the bank as evidence of a founding partnership. They also, and this is the part that genuinely astonished me, cited the key. Their argument, and I want to be precise about this because it matters, was that my mother holding a key to my business for 2 years, without my objection, demonstrated that she had ongoing access rights consistent with a co-owner. I had not objected to the key because I did not know she still had it. My attorney filed our response within 2 weeks. Attached to that response, the original loan documentation in my name alone, the payoff confirmation, the anniversary card from my aunt with "This is a gift, no strings," written in her own handwriting, 4 years of sole proprietor tax returns, the original lease, the second location contract, every single business registration document, all of which list one owner, one name, one person. We also attached the photograph I took of the handwritten note I found on my desk, which demonstrated premeditation, and a screenshot of the family group chat, which I had saved in full the night of the dinner. The group chat was, as my attorney put it, very helpful. The case moved faster than I expected. My mother's attorney, faced with the documentation we provided, began to walk the claims back almost immediately. The founding partnership argument collapsed when we produced the loan documentation. The key argument collapsed when we demonstrated that I had changed the locks the night of the dinner, which my attorney framed as the moment I formally revoked any implied access. The group chat showed explicit planning to enter the property without my knowledge or consent, which shifted the conversation considerably. My aunt stopped responding to her attorney halfway through the process. My mother held on longer. 3 months after the certified letter arrived, we were in a hearing. My mother sat across a table with her attorney, who by that point looked like a man who had realized too late that he had taken a case on contingency that was not going to pay out. My attorney sat next to me. The mediator reviewed the documents. It took 40 minutes. The claims were dismissed. My mother was ordered to pay a portion of my legal costs, not all of them. My attorney was right that it wouldn't cover everything, but enough to make the point. The mediator noted specifically that the documentation showed no credible basis for a co-ownership claim, and that the entry of the property had occurred without the owner's consent. I didn't feel triumphant when it ended. I want to be honest about that, because I think people expect this kind of story to end with the person feeling vindicated, and what I actually felt was tired. Just tired. I drove to the second location that afternoon, the one that was still being fitted out, and I walked through it alone. The walls were freshly painted. The new mirrors were still in their packaging, leaning against the wall. The light was good. I had spent a long time choosing the light fixtures and I was happy with the choice. I stood in the middle of that empty spaces and I thought about the loan I had paid back ahead of schedule. The years I worked 6 days a week, the 14 employees who counted on me getting the payroll right every single time. None of that had anything to do with anyone who had tried to claim a piece of it. There are things I would tell someone in the same situation. Things I learned not because I planned ahead brilliantly, but because I had to learn them fast. Document everything from the beginning, not because you expect your family to turn on you, but because documentation is what separates a claim from a fact. Keep your loan paperwork, keep your tax returns, keep the birthday card where your aunt writes "no strings attached." Keep it in a folder somewhere, because you never know. Change your locks the moment something feels wrong, not the next day, that night. And understand that a key someone holds without your knowledge is not consent. It is not evidence of partnership. The moment you change the locks, you have revoked whatever implied permission they thought they had, and that moment matters legally. Most importantly, know what you have, know your numbers, know your documents, know your timeline, because the people who tried to take something from you are counting on you not knowing, on you being too emotional or too exhausted, or too conflict averse to pull out the receipts. The receipts are everything. Luster opened its second location 7 weeks after the hearing. We had a private soft opening for employees and regular clients. No family members on the guest list. We had good sparkling cider, the kind that comes in proper bottles, and I made a short speech that I didn't write down beforehand. I thanked the people in the room. I meant every word. The balloon order was pink and gold, because I liked those colors, and because nobody was going to tell me otherwise.